Hi everyone and welcome to Protocol 36, and in today's video we need to talk about the first look of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. I'm going to be talking more about the Part 1 because Phil Lord and Chris Miller did mention why there's a Part 1, but let's quickly break this down. Before we get started, if at any point you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate if you could drop a like, as that would really help out the channel. Thank you. Now, let's get started. The first thing we hear is of course Post Malone's Sunflower, which was a popular song in the first film, and of course the title card reads in another universe, which is something Gwen said, but also parallels the title card we saw in the post-credit scene of Venom 1. But while we're listening to that, Miles is in bed, pretty much similar to how we last saw him in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, while Gwen is trying to contact him and trying to talk to him. We don't know exactly how Gwen was able to do that, but we do know that she has some type of technology that's able to allow her to go to different dimensions and of course speak to Miles that way. Both Miles and Gwen do also look different, as it looks like it's not really taking place directly after Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but more so maybe a couple years after. As Miles does look taller, he does look a little bit older, and so does Gwen. So I do believe that this may take around 2 to 3 years after the events of Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse. At least that's what it looks like from the first look. And later on we do see Miles with a brand new suit, so it definitely seems like that's the case. She also tells Miles to come and hang out with her, but Miles tells her that he's grounded. We of course don't know the reason as to why he's grounded, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jefferson and Rio does find out that Miles is Spider-Man and may have grounded him that way. Or maybe it's a different reason and it's not really a big deal as to how he got grounded, but I think that's something we're going to have to find out in the film. But jumping into the massive part where we see Miles pretty much jumping into portals upon portals upon portals, and of course landing into another universe. Now looking into that universe, it does look like there's Hindi writing and it may resemble a country like India. At least I think so. If I am incorrect, please let me know in the comments down below. I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe this is a nod to Spider-Man India, who in the comics is a different version of Spider-Man who lives in India, and he was also a big character in the Spider-Verse event, so I wouldn't be surprised if we also see him in the film. But while Miles is trying to save himself by using his webbing, we see Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, trying to attack Miles. The fact that he's trying to attack Miles is pretty interesting, since Miguel O'Hara is of course a hero. He's a Spider-Man from the future, so it's pretty weird that he's attacking Miles, but eventually they will come into an understanding and realize that they're wrong for fighting each other. In the future I'm going to make a separate video as who the villain of the film is going to be, and I can't wait to go into that because I think that's something I need to really think about as to why Miles and Miguel are fighting each other. But as I mentioned before, we do see Miles with a new suit. It does look very similar to his old one, but the spider logo has changed, so has the back, and I believe also a little bit of the gloves too. But in my opinion it looks way cooler, it looks way more polished, and doesn't look like a suit he spray printed Peter Parker suit all over. So of course kept the same design, but pretty much created a brand new suit based on the old one he had, which again looks awesome. Spider-Man 2099 also looks a little bit different. I think he looks a bit more bigger than he did in the post-credit scene, and I don't think his suit changed, but more so the model. But while 2099 is holding Miles, he's pretty much using the same device we saw him use in the post-credit scene of the first film, but this time he takes him and Miles to Earth 928. If you don't know what Earth 928 is, it's basically Miguel's Earth, where he lives, which is an Earth that takes place in the year 2099. 2099 in Marvel Comics is basically a possible future for Earth 616, which is why in the trailer it looks very futuristic. And of course it's not a random Earth for Miguel to choose, as he took them there for a reason. Miles has met other spider people before, so it's going to be interesting to see his relationship with Miguel O'Hara and why Miguel is trying to go into different universes, possibly even recruiting other spider people, or at least trying to find something like a MacGuffin in the film. The device is most likely the reason why Miguel isn't glitching like the other spider people did in the first film, which would protect him from that, and of course explain how Gwen isn't glitching as well. But yeah, jumping into the title card, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, pretty much confirming the rumor that was reported I believe last month, where people said that's going to be the film's title, and to be honest I really like it. I can't wait for this film. The visuals will look amazing, and obviously with the film being called Part 1, Phil Lord and Chris Miller did actually talk about it as to why they made it a Part 1, and they said the reason why was because this story was way too big to be contained in one movie, so they divided it into two. And they also mentioned how there's going to be way more spider people this time, which is awesome to hear. I wonder if they're going to include other version of Spider-Man from animated shows, games, like the Insomniac version where we have seen its suit in the first film, or maybe even the live action actors like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland. They did talk about doing that in the first film, but Sony apparently didn't allow them because it was too early, and of course we're going to get them in No Way Home, so it would be cool if we also got them here as well. However, we just have to wait and see, as I do think if we were, it will probably be a cameo too. However, this is the breakdown for the first look of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Tell me what you thought of the first look. look, and if I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and one more subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.